Alright, it's been a while since I've read visual novels. I like reading visual novels, but it's been a while since I've read a visual novel. So I'm using this video as an excuse to read a visual novel. I don't know how kosher this is. This is AUC. The actual title of, like, the EXE is AUC2. But I don't think it's a sequel to anything. But it's called All Under Control, and it's by someone. Chapter 1, A Night Fright. What's with the Dr. Seuss ass rhyme? Anyway. Is this loud? Hopefully this isn't loud. I think it's kind of loud, isn't it? Is that water? I think it's someone walking. What's happening? I don't want to talk over the ambient sounds because I know ambient audio is really important for horror. This is a horror thing, by the way. I don't think this is very kosher. I might not be able to post this, but spooky game. He looked weird the entire time. The text speed's so slow. I don't usually let it get to me. Definitely not when I didn't have high hopes for... Guys, that's a no-no word. Sex to begin with. But I guess at times the fruit of too much expectation turns out bitter enough to spoil my whole night. Guess I can be that petty. I don't care to admit it. Who's this protagonist? After the heat went down, we just lay there. We just lay there? With nothing to do besides showing each other all the dumb jokes we could find through our phones. Ugh. That's what modern era is, isn't it? Right? It's laying together. It's laying together. After a moment of intimacy, and then immediately showing each other funny memes on your phone. That's the Zoomer zeitgeist, isn't it? Right? That's what intimacy is now. And unsurprisingly, nothing got a chuckle out of him. Aw, what's wrong with this guy? What's wrong with either of these guys? Both of these guys sound weird. Then I went to the bathroom for my meds while he set up his CPAP machine. That's like a breathing machine, I think. I thought it must have been anxiety, which mixed with my mood regulator. I'm having a hard time reading this. I'm not good at reading sometimes. I thought it must have been anxiety, which mixed with mood regulators. I feel like it needs another comma there. I thought it must have been anxiety, which mixed with mood regulators, comma, could often be a loaded shot straight through any sexual excitement. That meant none of us were to blame for the awkwardness of it all. Simple as that. We tried. It was still fun. Neither of us got off. But I couldn't get his expression out of my head. Despite my efforts, I didn't think he liked it much. Maybe not at all. I swallowed my tabs dry and then gave him another look as I walked out of the bathroom. Alex was already asleep. Alex. Okay, one of the characters, Alex. Sometimes I forget character names, so one of them is Alex. I know that. Alex, not the speaker. Alex, different person. The big shirtless polar bear, soft as a dream, wearing a black sleep mask atop that oxygen one strapped to his muzzle. I'd known him for a while, but it took months for our schedules to align to hang out tonight. I didn't go out much, and judging from previous conversations, neither did he. We shared dinner next to a pile of folded clothes he didn't bother putting away. We watched YouTube on a smart TV. The Zoomer zeitgeist, right? Yeah, that's what you do. That's what you do. You watch YouTube on a smart TV. Watching YouTube on a smart TV, it's such specific imagery that's definitely like, it's definitely a write what you know sort of thing, I think. We watched YouTube on a smart TV, didn't bother turning off. We tried to have sex on a bed, he didn't bother preparing. What does that mean? He didn't make the bed. He didn't fold the blanket, whatever. And we used Munsol the lube. He didn't even bother ripping the seal off of. Why would he? Right? If you don't rip the seal, then it's gonna be fresher when you actually use it, right? Right. You're not gonna rip the seal off the peanut butter until you're gonna make some peanut butter crackers, right? I wasn't judging him. Rather, I was just looking. I can't read. I wasn't judging him. Rather, I was just trying to look for a root cause. I guess one can consider it selfish to only think about someone else's trouble when insecurity hits. But really, cast the first. I should just wait for. I should just wait for the line to finish being written before I try and read it. But really, cast the first stone. They who never second. I can't read. I just can't read. But really, cast the first stone. They who never second. Oh, okay. I thought this was like, but really, cast the first stone. They who never second guess themselves, just starting to know someone. The line makes sense. My brain just can't process, like, the rhythm of how it's supposed to be read, so we're moving on. We weren't close friends after all. Not yet, at least. And I guess at the time, I was more of an observer than a friend. More curious than worried. Dramatic pause. Am I supposed to press a button? Or is this, like, timed? I think I'm supposed to press a button. Even at late night, with only a timid coat of outside lighting peeking in, the apartment itself felt cozy enough. When my eyes adjusted to the dark, I could see the bare minimum of where things were, including all the messy parts. I turned my head into a corner where the bookshelves stacked full of PS4 games, thick fantasy novel, and Funko Pops met with the sliding doors to the balcony. These descriptions are so specific that, like, the author has to have been, like, in a room, in an apartment, right, exactly like this. PS4 games? Right, PS4 games is so hyper-specific, right? Because we're in PS5 era, right? We're in PS5 era, right? But it's like, no, not PS3, not PS5, PS4, right? This is a period piece, you know? Or this is just someone who never bothered buying a PS5, which is fair, I guess. You know, especially if you're a PC gamer. I don't know. PS4 games. Thick fantasy novels and Funko Pops. Met with the sliding doors to the balcony. The glass sliding doors to the balcony. It was just a corner, perfectly unremarkable in how its angles fit together. And yet, it was that same corner he was looking at for most of the night. Like he was expecting it to unfold before us. There wasn't even any piece of decoration on it. It was as bare as ordinary. It was as bare and ordinary as it gets. I strained my vision, then approached it to touch the walls. Then approached it to touch the walls. Nothing special at all. Whatever he saw there, I wasn't seeing. Spoopy. So I went back to bed and cuddled close to him. Didn't take long for me to fall asleep. Maybe a couple hours or a couple minutes later, he woke me up with a paralyzing scream. His paws went up to his face to cover his eyes. To me, in the dark, it briefly looked as though he was forcing his wrists into his eye sockets. Wow. It's weird how this is all sort of like, it's like a prologue, you know? Like, I don't know, it's weird. Like, I don't know, it's interesting how, like, It's interesting how the protagonist is relaying to us a scene that's like happening to them actively, yet simultaneously like in the past tense, right? Like it's weird because there's the like show don't tell thing, but like obviously in a novel, some things are going to be told, right? But I don't know, it's weird because that scene was just sort of like relayed to us, you know? Like we didn't really get to experience the scene. Like we were watching the scene, but we were watching like a second-hand account of a scene that was happening actively in the past. So I don't know. It's weird. Interesting though. Interesting. I wasn't about to make a big deal out of it if he wasn't. After about 10 a.m. or so, we both went to the living room for some tentative breakfast plans. He brewed some coffee for us both, and then he went to the bathroom to take care of the worst. And then he went to the bathroom to take care of the worst hangover face I'd ever seen in anyone. It's the boy. It's Alex. What is Alex's voice? I have the voice Alex. I'm really sorry about that. That's Alex's voice. He said it as he walked off the bathroom, wiping his cheeks in the spots where the eye drops missed his eyes. Night terrors suck ass. Tiago. Tiago? Thiago? Thiago. Tiago. Tiago? Tiago. I think it's Tiago. Tiago. I've had them since high school. I shrugged. It's just a surprise. I was just surprised to see such a frightened bear. And you call yourself an apex predator. He didn't laugh. Instead, I watched him out and walk to the kitchen to warm up the leftover bacon pizza in the microwave. Dude, these hyper specific descriptions are so like, they're so real. You know, they're so real. It's like, of course there's like cold. Of course there's cold bacon pizza, right? Right. Of course there's cold bacon pizza that you're microwaving. Why wouldn't there be? There's always cold leftover bacon pizza. Instead, I watched him walk over to the kitchen to warm up the leftover bacon pizza in the microwave, barely giving me a glance as he went on. I've just been getting them a bit more recently. What was his voice? Is this his voice? I had a few things happen. I nodded and let the air speak for me. Is that what the air does? Okay. Just like I thought last night, there was baggage to unpack. I thought that maybe I should have declined his invitation to come over. Probably. But fuck. We had been trying to hang out for so long. Did he feel somewhat pressured this time? I couldn't linger on that idea for long. Audio jump scare. The microwave beeped. And as he caught me looking, he tried to smile. Then he put his plate on the table and his eyes went somewhere else entirely. Another corner, closer to the dinner table this time, just as empty as the one from last night. Is there some sort of trans-dimensional entity afoot? Some sort of trans-dimensional entity? I looked at him for a while until I realized that he wasn't blinking. What's up with that? He almost jumped at the sound of my voice. His bulging eyes, slightly pinkish, took me back half a step. Then his face dropped, and his next attempt at a reassuring smile did a poor job at masking it. It's more like a grin carved out of Play-Doh. Be nice. Be nice to Alex, dude. He invited you over, Alex. Be nice. Be nice. Alex invited you over, Tiago. I remember the names. I won't forget the names, I assure you. Be nice. Wrong in all the subtle ways. Be nice. Stop being weird, right? Maybe he's ASD, I don't know. My mind's been all over the place. Rough nightmare will do that to you. I get it, really. Shook his head. Really? It's that simple? I don't know, man. I can be pretty complicated sometimes. He chuckled slightly. This time it did sound a little bit more genuine. thought that you even liked complicated guys. I slouched back on the couch, lightly sipping on my coffee. Had gotten cold way too fast. He's such a crybaby. He's such a crybaby. Tiago is such a crybaby. Look, about last night, I just wanted you to know that I love spending time with you. I really did. Oh, forget about that shit, bro. We all get nervous sometimes. Don't worry. It's not that. It's not your fault. Not yours either. He sighed, nodding hastily. Right. It's just... これは何ですか? Alex raised his paw as if to ask for time. He got up and covered his plate with a plastic dome, then turned to the empty corner again. This time what I saw in him wasn't just a momentary fright. There really was some visible affliction coursing through him from head to toe. I could smell fear shaking his body. It continued until he approached me on the couch. I really, really need to talk to you about something. To me specifically? I don't know who else I could talk to. He said it awkwardly. The bear had his paws on his knees. They were still shaking. You know, I moved here right when the whole pandemic hit. I was really never good at making friends. And well, while I did meet some other people through all this time, I kind of wish I hadn't. Really wish I hadn't. And right now, you're pretty much the only one I'm comfortable with. He was throwing words at me faster than I could process. I retracted to the other end of the couch and his ears flattened. Aw. I'm sorry, Hey, it's fine. Really. Open sentence. Look, whatever you're dealing with right now, if you think it will help you, you can just talk to me, okay? Right, but the thing is, I don't really know if I really should share. He said that and then turned back to that same corner he was staring at. Music jump scare. Once again, I saw his body language change. Alex, what are you looking at? I forgot to do the right voice for the right character. The bear turned back towards me. His glare was not only cold, but a total blizzard. That is a metaphor, right? But shouldn't a polar bear's glare be blizzard and cold like? Isn't that where bears are meant? This is going to be a long story. A long story. Story time. Sure you want to hear? I wasn't. But if I was willing to be more of a friend than an observer, and if I was still interested in maybe something else, at the time, I think it was the case, I had to go on with it. Be nice. Be nice. Stop being so scrutinous of Alex, right? If you're going to be this scrutinous of Alex, you should have left yesterday. Tiago should have left yesterday. Be nice. It's not like he would expect me to give advice anyway. You know, sometimes it's good enough to just have someone to talk to. Right now, in hindsight, with the events that followed, I wish I had just run away the moment he asked. But we'll get to that later. That's right, we will get to that later. Next time, on YouTube playthrough. That's the segue to end the video.